Jesse, welcome back. Uh, I know you're going to give me the diplomatic answer, Jesse, because you're always that guy, and you played everywhere except for center on this offensive line. But you want to do the best thing for the team. But where does Jesse Davis feel like he's going to have the best success?
You know, I played every position beside center, like you mentioned. But moving forward, it's always what we can put the best position of me to move this ball club forward and get wins and have success. However, I have been playing center this week. A little nugget for you, Omar.
We'll go to Beasley.
Wait, you can't just let that one slide by. How did this come about? And is that something that's just kind of being tweaked with or something you're taking seriously?
Well, I've been taking it seriously. I don't want to put, when I'm out there, because it's the injured group and the rookies and the quarterbacks, it's just a little extra practice for everybody to get the early group going. But right now, it's just been, we don't have enough centers out there right now. So they're like, hey, let's see what happens. So right now I'm like, I don't want to go out there and put my guys in a bad spot. So I have to learn this stuff. I have to make the right calls and put everybody in a position to be successful and, see the reps and get the reps right. But I think it's just something to mess with, especially with this COVID stuff. You never know who's going to be up, who's going to be down. So I'm excited for it.
Go to Cam Wolf.
Jesse, I want to ask you, I guess, especially given the COVID worries and whatnot, how is it for an offensive lineman? It seems like more than any other position group, you guys have to be close. You guys have to be, tight in that. How difficult is it to sort of social distance in that particular position?
Yeah, I think any position really, but especially the O-line because we play, so close to each other. We all rely on communication and, knowing each other. But early on when we had all the rookies in, I made sure to get a couple Zoom meetings in, just us as players, shoot the breeze, get to know each other, where you're from, stuff you do when you first meet. So we did a couple of those meetings early on. And then during the summer, following the CDC guidelines, we, a couple of us got together and made sure we practiced or did our drills together, following the guidelines as well. But I think we for the circumstances, did a pretty good job getting to know everybody who's in town, make sure everybody's doing okay, everybody's safe, or anybody that needs anything. So we already had a communication base, I think we did pretty good with it.
Back to Omar.
What's it like, Jesse? You're the most veteran guy on the Dolphins team, which is weird, by the way. What is it like to have to be a leader of this unit, and have you embraced that challenge?
Yeah, it's funny. We wake up one day and then, after free agency or whatever, and you're like, wow, I am the oldest guy on there, or the most experienced, I guess, in the room. And then, you kind of have to put yourself in that mindset of, I'm going to be the leader. I want to be the leader. I want to have my guys. I want to have somebody they can lean on when things are hard, or, advice with anything. But I embrace it, and, I wasn't appointed or anything like, hey, Jesse, you got to do this. It's more so, this is what I want to do. I started reading a lot of leadership books too, to try to figure it out. And more importantly, kind of like a Navy SEAL book, they're all about teamwork and how they can build each other up and they can rely on each other. So those things I kind of did this off season with all the time I had on my hands. And it kind of just gave me a different perspective on how to lead.
Beasley.
Jesse, obviously the NFL has not gone to a bubble scenario yet. Seeing the struggles that Major League Baseball has had without a bubble, what would your thoughts be if they asked you to stay at the hotel basically between now and New Year's?
Yeah, that's a tough question to ask anybody, especially who has families and stuff. I don't have any kids, and for me, it's if that's what we have to do, then that's what we'd have to do. I definitely do it just to play the game and obviously help this organization play football. But yeah, it's a tough one to ask. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that, depending on the circumstances of an individual. But see how this kind of plays out for them as well, and see what the right way to do it, the wrong way to do it. I think what our organization has done so far has been, great. They put us in a safe organization, and it's cool to see. And it's cool how much they care about an individual and their staff and their players and everybody in between.
We'll go to Travis.
Hey, Jesse, good to see you again, man. I just wanted to ask you about your new offensive line coach, Steve Marshall. He's got over 40 years experience coaching football. How does that experience benefit such a young offensive line room? And just talk about what he offers as a coach, a teacher, and a leader.
Yeah, I was with Coach Marshall at the Jets when I did a short time there, training camp, and then I think a week of preseason or a week of practice squad. But he offers, tons of knowledge. He's seen it probably every technique you can get from, different players to different styles of play. And, any question you have, he answers it on the fly, and it's been great. And especially with our assistant coach, Lim, he's played the game. I played with him in Seattle, actually. So I knew him from a short stint as well, but he offers a great way to look at the game too, on how a player looks at it instead of a coach. And I think, them two together is a good marriage for our room.
Ruthie.
Hey, Jesse, I wanted to ask you about being a football player, kind of your entire lives, you're conditioned to play through bumps and bruises. Is there any conversation kind of about hey, you can't take a runny nose lightly anymore, or hey, a sore throat needs to be taken really seriously, when normally that wouldn't be something that would keep you from showing up from work?
Right. Yeah. That's the weird topic of conversation we have had is usually you play through your sicknesses, you play through if you had a runny nose or a cough or something, but now it's such a serious matter. And we took it at approaches you don't know what the guy's going home to. Is he going home to a 7-year-old grandmother that's living with him, or a pregnant wife, or that kind of thing. So you got to be selfish in that regard of, hey, you got to take it seriously. If you have any symptoms, make sure you let everybody know. And, it's not just about the guy next to you. I mean, it's obviously your well-being as well. And then obviously the public that you go out to, or a grocery store or something. So yeah, it's definitely a different approach. I don't think anybody really likes it, but that's the way it's going to be. And I think it's, all the guidelines and settings we have, I think it's a good way to go.
Joe Shad.
Hey, Jess, it's good to see you. Thanks for dropping that center bomb on us. I was tackle, guard, center, and let's not forget you've played defensive tackle for the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
When you guys actually start, whatever it is, the 12th or the 17th, I know the 17th is actual real football. What have you been told? Are you going to start off then at guard or tackle?
Nothing yet. I mean, we've just been rotating around, especially with all of our rookies, trying to get them the reps instead of worrying about the vets right now, or whoever's with us in the injury group. But, I'm just trying to bring those guys along as well, because they didn't have any OTAs. They didn't have the meetings. So I'm just trying to drop them knowledge hey, linebacker might do this on this play, or the running back's going to do this. So, watch for this. But, nothing on position-wise, just kind of rolling with the punches. And like I said, I mean, if they want to put me at left tackle again, so be it. It all pays the same for me.
We'll go to Barry.
Hi, Jesse. I know when I saw you at the stadium in February at the business event, you had said ideally you'd love to know by the end of April whether you'd be at tackle or guard. Has Brian or anyone given you any idea? I know you just told Joe, obviously you don't know for sure, but have they given you any idea which is more likely?
No, they just said right guard or right tackle. They said it would probably work some left. That way you still have it. But right now, I mean, everything's kind of up in the air. You never know who's going to be up, who's going to be down, and I primarily, I played more on the right side. So I guess I'd probably say something on the right side, but end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I can adjust to it.
Cam Wolf.
Hey, Jesse, I guess whether in your conversations with guys this offseason over the phone or in the facility, what do you feel is the level of fear, general coming back and playing? Do you see guys are just saying, hey, this is my job, I'm going to do it regardless? Or is there a higher level of fear, that you may see, between guys?
I think the fear comes out when we start talking about it more. I think once we're in the building and around each other and back to normal, obviously we all wear masks in the building. And then if you want to on the field, you can as well. But there hasn't been like somebody going like, hey, make sure you stay away from me. It's more so you have your own respect for the guy next to you. Like you make sure you're already 6 feet away or a further distance than that. But we also wear these contact tracers too. So it kind of tells you, it starts beeping or like the flashing on your wrist if you're too close to somebody. So, I mean, that's a good reminder as well. So, I mean, the fear is there, but it's not, I guess it's not very like shown on somebody's face or somebody's body language. So I think right now, I mean, they've done such a good job in it. Like that's the primary, mindset for a guy. It's like they feel safe in that building, and that's the way it should be. And it's nice.
All right, last question here for Omar.
Jesse, I want to ask you about Tua. Fitz came on and sort of was praising the fact that he has this presence about him. How much have you interacted with him, not just this offseason, but since you've been in the building, and what have you noticed?
Yeah, especially, acting with him in the building, it's just been like he's a humble guy, and that's, it's nice to see that, because I kind of pride myself on humbleness too. And how he works, how he presents himself in the building, and how he, shows Fitz that, he's willing to learn and not like, hey, this is my spot or something like that. It's very nice to see a young, star like that come in and be ready to work, and he's always like on the field telling us, he's like, all right, let's go, next play, very up tempo kind of guy. So it's nice to see that as well.